Pond in Anaheim, California. It's the West Regional Semifinal. Our first game of the evening. For a trip into the Final Eight, it's Georgetown, seeded number 10, against the third-seeded Maryland Terrapins. And the bracket here in the West. The winner of this game will take on the winner of Stanford-Cincinnati, coming up next. Hello, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson along with Dan Bonner. For 8 years, the nation's capital has waited for these two teams to play, and they get their opportunity to see them on a very, very large stage.
Gus, this is interesting. These teams played every year from 1948 through 1980. And why? Well, they're very, very close together. You can see a long-term series, but that 1993 meeting, the last time these two teams played, I'll tell you what, they're both big, they both have depth, they both can score. This ought to be really entertaining.
So they are waiting in Washington, D.C. and around the country. The coach, Craig Esherick, he was born in Silver Spring, Maryland, but was also born at Georgetown Hospital. And the starting lineups, let's take a look. And on the left, Georgetown, Riley, Sweetney, Boomche, the center, Demetrius Hunter, and Kevin Braswell in the backcourt. Mouton, the transfer from Tulane, along with Terrence Morris, Lonnie Baxter in the middle, Juan Dixon, and Steve Blake in the backcourt. Gary Williams, in his 12th year as the head coach at Maryland, graduated from Maryland in 1968. He's led the Terps into the tournament 8 straight years. So the pageantry in full bloom here in Anaheim. Scott Thornley, Tom Eads, and Mark Reichling are your officials. Kevin Braswell, Juan Dixon, both from Maryland, both grew up together, lived together momentarily. Juan's parents passed away from AIDS after suffering from a heroin addiction. He moved in momentarily with Kevin Braswell. The two have looked forward to playing against each other ever since they were kids, and now they get their opportunity.
And Gus, of concern to both coaches as we take a good look at Juan Dixon, but of concern to both coaches is how these young men will react to playing against one another. They're both key components to their team. Even though they've got a big personal rivalry, as you see them hug there on midcourt, they've got to just go and play. Georgetown
coming off a 76-57 win over Hampton in the second round. They beat Arkansas at the buzzer in the first round, 63-61 on Nathaniel Burton's buzzer beater. As for the Terps, they've won 8 of their last 9, most recently against their former coach, Lefty Driesell, and the Georgia State team, 79-60. Lonnie Baxter in that game, 19 points, 14 rebounds. The opening tip, and it's controlled by the Terrapins. So here we go.
And Georgetown starts in the man-to-man.
This is Mouton looking on the baseline. Morris backing down across the lane. The lean in lefty, short. Baxter drop step on the rebound. It touches the top of the backboard, out of bounds.
One of the things that Maryland's going to have a difficult time doing is taking the ball right to the basket, simply because Georgetown is so big in there. They block shots very effectively. Maryland may have to make some jump shots to loosen things up. Man-to-man for Maryland.
Now Riley. They look inside. Nice ball fake for Sweetney, and he gets his man in the air and knocks it down.
That's a tough matchup for Terrence Morris inside.
Blake turns it over. Braswell, the bounce pass to Sweetney on the roll, and a reach-in foul called against Dixon. The Georgetown Hoyas, located in Georgetown, D.C., and 12,498 students. They compete in the Big East Conference. Their 22nd tournament appearance, and there's the legend, John Thompson, who led the Hoyas to the national championship in '84, stepped down a couple of years ago, and his longtime assistant, Craig Esherick, spent 17 years as his assistant, played for him as well, took over, and this team is rolling right now.
Team really is, and Craig Esherick, he really has his own style. He's not simply John Thompson, a little younger, a little thinner. He's got his own style. And this team has really responded as he's blended a group of very talented freshmen and senior experience.
Georgetown 25-7. Baseline jump shot, Dixon. And he gets his first basket to fall. And this young man is explosive.
He really is explosive. And It's going to be a long day for Georgetown if Dixon is going to make shots like that out of a double team.
Maryland's leading scorer, averaging 18 a game. Riley around the screen. Short. Blake with the rebound. Head up. Bounce pass. Mouton. Pull-up jumper is good.
Now, Steve Blake really likes to make passes like that. He's a guy that tries to make things happen. Sometimes makes things happen, and they're not very good for Maryland. But Blake against a team like Georgetown is going to have to control those instincts.
Maryland up by 2 in the corner. This one goes down for Demetrius Hunter. Hunter, a sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a three-pointer, 5-4. Georgetown blocked by Boomche. Braswell in motion. Nice look. Hunter spotting up again. And Sweetney comes up with the offensive rebound.
Because Georgetown not really noted as being a fine shooting team, but I'll tell you what, they put the ball up while they're on the board, and then they go get it. Maryland cannot afford to let Georgetown dominate the offensive board.
Georgetown shoots 44% as a team on the year. Offensive foul called against the Hoyas.
Maryland scores almost 86 points a game, and one of the reasons they really like to run in transition. That's a very effective play by Steve Blake. As I say, he's going to have to use good decision-making when knowing when to make that play and when not to.
Steve Blake, a sophomore from Miami Lakes, Florida, averaging close to 7 points per game. He started his entire freshman year, so a seasoned college player. Baxter shuffling his feet and travels. The University of Maryland, located in College Park. Over 33,000 students, and they compete in the ACC. There's their coach, Gary Williams, one of the more fiery head coaches that you'll see in the nation, to say the least. We're being kind.
He tends to be excitable from time to time, but he is an excellent basketball coach. Really gets his kids prepared to play.
On the baseline, Riley looks for Boomche. Here's Rubin from Cameroon on the drop step. A little strong, gets his own rebound.
Ball didn't hit the rim.
Now Hunter from downtown. Sweetney with the rebound, but it's stolen away by Mouton.
Georgetown really making a big effort to sprint back on defense to make Maryland play against that set defense every single time.
Baxter pinning his man, the jump hook, down it.
Baxter is a very powerful and very effective player down on the inside. Boomche needs to do a better job holding his ground, not allowing Baxter to push him underneath the basket.
After only 2 points against George Mason, had 19 and 14 rebounds. In the second round, Dixon ahead of the field and gets it to fall.
And Dixon has hurt himself.
Actually, his shoe has come off.
Well, that can be a problem.
Now Braswell, 5-on-4 right now for the Hoyas. Nice pass inside, great catch, Sweetney, and draws a foul. Kevin Braswell finding the open man, threading the needle.
Guys, just as we talked about, Steve Blake is a point guard who likes to make plays and sometimes tries to force the ball in where it shouldn't go. Kevin Braswell has the same kind of demeanor out there as a point guard.
Mike Sweetney, a freshman from Oxon Hill, Maryland, and he has really dedicated himself to improving. Lost about 30 pounds over the summer. Came into Georgetown in good shape. He wants to lose maybe 15 or 20 more.
Well, you look at Sweetney and you see Lonnie Baxter. Both guys similarly sized, play the same kind of power game on the inside. Sweetney a little bit better away from the basket.
Gets the second to fall. 9-8, Georgetown up by a point. Here's the full court pressure. And a hand-checking foul called against Anthony Perry, the senior from Jersey City.
Georgetown, of course, will come after you with that pressure, and if you're Steve Blake, you don't want to dribble the ball over to the corner and pick it up. That's precisely what Georgetown wants you to do.
Try to wear you out. Now Dixon backs it up. Blake will start the offense again. Georgetown falls back into the zone.
And don't let this zone fool you. They do not play passively when they're in a zone defense. Sometimes they chase that ball around. Looks like they got 6 guys out on the court. You put it in the corner, they're going to trap you.
Dixon, 13 to shoot. Shake and bake here. Now Morris travels. 15:40 to go, first half of play. 1-point game. 15:40 to go, first half of play. Georgetown by 1. The Hoyas 3 of 7 from the field, 43%. Maryland, 4 of 7. That's 57% shooting. Georgetown in the dark uniforms, Maryland in the light uniforms. Here's Anthony Perry working the ball up the floor with Braswell in the backcourt. High screen for Braswell, set by Boomche.
Maryland in the man-to-man defense.
Perry goes up high, saves it from going out of bounds. With 14 to shoot. Boomche, great catch, block. Morris got a hand on it.
We talked about Georgetown's ability to block shots well, and Morris, Baxter, Mike Martisich coming off the bench, Taz Holden, Chris Wilcox. Maryland's got 5 guys who can swat it away.
Blake crosses over down the lane, taken away. Baxter gets it back, leans in, the reverse layup good.
Well, it's like Baxter got angry in there. They knocked the ball away from him, and he just went back and got it.
So Baxter with 4 points. Maryland takes a 10-9 lead.
Yes, there's going to be an awful lot of those loose ball type situations, and I think the team that can win the majority of them is going to win this game.
Here's Boomche in the pivot. Sweetney from 16, and air ball right out of bounds.
This game is, one of the things this game is going to be about is scratching and clawing on the defensive end. Boomche catches the ball in there. You're not going to be able to just catch and go up against Maryland. And now Baxter recovers the loose ball, puts it in the basket. The hustle stats, picking up the loose balls, offensive rebounds, taking charges. They're going to be a key to this basketball game.
Now Blake into the front court quickly. Weak side, Mouton, rise and fire. It's off the heel. Rebounded by Baxter, his 4th.
And Baxter really has had a solid start to this basketball game. They'd like to get Morris involved a little bit more on the offensive end.
Partially blocked by Lee Scruggs. And a tie-up, Wilson and Mouton. Possession arrow favoring the Hoyas.
The pace of the game thus far has been about what we figured. Each one of these teams likes to get up and down. Georgetown would like the pace to be a little uglier, a little more hectic. You're just not going to be able to turn around and shoot the ball. You're going to have to pump fake before you let it go.
Now Scruggs.
Georgetown has 4 different guys in the game.
Burton with the step on the baseline. To the cup. Loose ball picked up and put down by Wesley Wilson.
When you get a drive to the basket and the defense is going to collapse and go after the ball, that opens up lanes for offensive rebounding, and the Georgetown kids do a great job getting themselves in those lanes when one of their teammates penetrates to the basket.
Wesley Wilson, a sophomore from Vallejo, California. Blake down the lane, turns it over. Hoyas with numbers, 4-on-1. Looks inside, Burton strong to the bucket.
Boy, Georgetown, they just turn and go. One thing that Maryland cannot afford to do is turn it over in a situation where they allow Georgetown to run out.
Blake has to be really careful. It's great to make the slick pass, but you also have to be frugal with the basketball.
He just dropped it in there.
Cross court, Dixon from downtown. Weak side rebound, Morris on the power move. Wraps it around and Baxter jams it with 2.
What a great move by Morris. Got that leap in the middle and jump stop really drew the attention of both Scruggs and Wilson, and they were sure he was going to shoot the ball, and then he makes the great pass.
Lonnie Baxter, one of the hardest working young men in the nation, has transformed his body. Wilson partially blocked. Baxter gets a hand on it. Here comes Blake in a hurry. Nice bounce pass. Mouton out of bounds. We'll stay right here.
I'll tell you what, you draw the attention of the guys inside that jump stop. Everybody's jumping for the basketball. Terrence Morris just kicks it right off to Lonnie Baxter. What a great start for Baxter. Now Maryland going with their bench. We talked about each of these teams being very deep. Lots of new guys in the game.
Mike Martisich wears number 33, and Danny Miller, number 15 for the Terrapins. Now Miller. And also Drew Nicholas, number 12, a sophomore from Long Island, New York.
Here's that zone defense. There they come with the trap.
Miller in the middle to Martisich. Nice deal. Morris blocked and tied up. Lee Scruggs.
7-foot guy, 2 feet from the basket. Gus has to take the ball and shoot it. Martisic trying to be unselfish. You get the end zone replay now. Martisic cuts in the middle. He's just got to take that ball to the basket, the pump fake and the dunk. A little bit of controversy here about which way the possession arrow is supposed to be. Georgetown had the last one, so it is Maryland possession. Since Maryland keeps the ball, there's only 14 seconds remaining on the shot clock.
Greg Esherick, the head coach at Georgetown, grew up a Maryland fan, going to Lefty Drizel's basketball camps. Now Miller with 10 to shoot. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by the Terps. 11:59 to go, first half of play. 13-12 Hoyas.
And welcome back to Anaheim. Dwayne Ballin here. Georgetown leads Maryland 13-12. Gus and Dan alluded earlier to the relationship between Georgetown's Kevin Braswell and Maryland's Juan Dixon. I talked to both young men yesterday. They are extremely close. In fact, they once spent an entire weekend together chatting and never left the house. And Dixon told me that when he lost his parents in high school, that Braswell was an emotional crutch for him. They are so close. And Dan and Gus, I wonder, how does one put aside those emotions and play in a game of this magnitude?
Well, I tell you what, there's an opportunity to play in the Final Eight, so you have to do it. There's no question about it.
Now, I'll tell you how close they are. Juan Dixon's girlfriend for the last 5 years is a young lady by the name of Robin Bragg, and she told the beat writer for the Washington Post the other day that for the first 2 years she dated Juan, she thought she was dating two guys because every time they went to a movie, went out to dinner, Kevin Braswell came along.
Inside, Miller with the rebound. Martisic taken away. Nathaniel Burton comes out of the pack.
And right at the moment, Georgetown picking up the loose balls, creating a little bit of a hectic tempo. That's what they want.
Hunter in and out. And Morris with the rebound. Now Maryland. Nicholas, Morris, Miller. Martisic in the low post on the drop step. Beautiful touch and gets the roll.
And I'm sure Gary Williams mentioned to Martisic that he has to be a threat in there. He can't be looking to pass the ball all the time. Now Maryland with some pressure.
Hunter trapped in the backcourt, changes directions. And a whistle. Martisic called for a foul on the low block. He bumped Wesley Wilson. Get an interactive tournament experience with fan polls and game features, audio clips, and video highlights. It's all at the internet's home of college basketball. CBS.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline.
Gus, and we just showed you a picture of 5 guys coming in the game at the same time.
Hunter off the mark once again on the jump shot. Miller with the rebound.
We're going to see that kind of substitution pattern the entire game.
On the baseline, count this one, Taj Holden, a sophomore from Red Bank, New Jersey.
And Holden is a guy who can really shoot the ball facing the basket. Georgetown is going to have to get out and get on him.
Maryland by 3. Braswell inside to Sweetney on the power move. He draws the foul.
We mentioned each of these teams with a great deal of depth. Georgetown, 11 players who play 10 or more minutes. The more impressive stat, you've got 9 guys who contribute scoring-wise. And, of course, the Maryland Terrapins, this is their bench. They play 5 guys with great regularity. Those 5 guys do a tremendous job for Maryland. They average almost 23 points a game and play a little over 60 minutes.
Gary Williams. Coached at Boston College, Ohio State, and with a great opportunity to return to his alma mater. He's done a terrific job in College Park. As Sweetney for the second is good. 10:21 to go, first half of play. Maryland up by a point. Sweetney with 6 points for the Hoyas.
And just as Maryland has been able to find Baxter inside earlier, so has Georgetown been able to find Sweetney. Now here's this 2-3 zone, and Maryland has to be careful. They've gotten the ball in the corner, and Georgetown has come after them a couple of times.
What do they have to do?
Well, you've got to keep the ball moving. If you get the ball in the corner, you can't hang on to it, and you've got to penetrate the zone either with the pass or with the dribble.
Here's Martisic.
See, when you catch it in there, you got to be tough with it. You can't let guys take the ball away from you.
And Riley does exactly that, taking it away from Martisic. Martisic picks up his second foul, and that's the 8th turnover for the Terps.
This is the kind of a game Georgetown is going to come after you. And when you catch the ball on the inside, you can't wait for the referee to blow the whistle and bail you out. You got to hang on to it in there.
Hoyas play a lot of people. They'll put 13 different players in the game going at you. Braswell changes his shot. Martisic snatching it down. Here comes Blake. Back to Martisic.
Oh boy, Braswell almost got that. Braswell is very, very active regardless of the defense that the Hoyas play, and they're now back into the man-to-man. Georgetown just gets after it.
Holden for three. Fouled behind the line by Boomche. He'll shoot three. Now, with the conclusion of every NCAA tournament game, we'll select the Chevrolet most valuable player of the game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed over $8 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. So Taj Holden at the line, shooting three. First one is good. Holden on the season, a 61% free throw shooter.
Well, we mentioned one of the interesting things about Holden at 6'10", he can go out and shoot the three-point shot, and that's why Boomche was out there. A little too close for comfort for Craig Escherick, however.
Holden looking very confident at the line as Baxter and Juan Dixon check back in. Nicholas Martisic take a seat.
Gary Williams really likes to put Holden in the game because Holden gives the Terrapins a toughness that Maryland sometimes lacks. This kid just gets in there and plays hard. He is a very effective offensive threat.
Second one, and it rolls off. Make it the third. 18-15 Maryland. Approaching the 9-minute mark of the first half of play. Braswell quickly into the front court. And he'll restart it.
And here's Baxter now battling against Sweetney. Those are two very similarly sized guys. Similarly sized, similarly skilled.
Braswell on the move, down the lane. The kick, Riley squares up, rips it.
Riley only shoots about 26% from three-point range, but that's his 25th three-pointer of the year, so if you give him that wide open a look, he's going to knock it down.
And the three-point shooting thus far, Georgetown 2 of 6, Maryland 0 for 3. Last time these two teams met, 1993. Dwayne Simpkins down the lane with time running out, and the Maryland Terrapins knocked off the Hoyas 84-83 in overtime. Gary Williams celebrates. John Thompson walked off the court. And there's Coach Thompson in the stands, and he's sitting around a couple of living legends as well. A couple of very popular guys. There's Coach Thompson. The guy right there played basketball somewhere.
I think
at the University of San Francisco.
And the guy next to him,
he was a pretty good running back.
Pretty good running back at Syracuse, Jim Brown. Boy, that's really something.
And he was an All-America lacrosse player, Jim Brown.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Very nice. So here's Blake inbounding. Morris, catch and shoot, short, Sweetney going up high.
This game thus far has gone back and forth. Nobody's really seized control yet. Maryland stays in the man-to-man.
Inside, Boomche. Make it Wilson, rather, with the great catch, as you mentioned. And he's fouled.
When Mike Sweetney has the ball out on the perimeter, Maryland really has to get out on him. Look at all that space that Baxter gives him, and that allows Sweetney a lot of time to find Wilson on the inside. Wilson at 6'11". Throw the ball up there, usually he's going to get it. Sweetney not likely to drive past you, so you've got to get out and put pressure on him so he can't find Wilson inside.
So here's Wesley Wilson. First one up, and good. Here comes the sub, Anthony Perry. Checks in. And Demetrius Hunter takes a seat. Miller out of the game. Mouton back in.
And that's Juan Dixon now with 2 personal fouls. That could be a very, very important statistic in this game. We've still got 8 minutes, 13 seconds left in the half.
Georgetown by a deuce.
Georgetown in that zone, and again, they tend to be very active in the zone.
Dixon to the basket, dumps it down. Morris blocked inside by Wilson.
Boy, Morris really struggling inside. You got to give that pump fake in there, get Wilson off his feet.
Perry rise and fire and hits. And some bumping going on the floor right now. Georgetown turning up the heat. They lead the Terps 23-18.
Georgetown defense really has Maryland standing. Looking at this open area here in the zone, and then as Maryland gets the ball in there and gets it down here, watch Georgetown collapse on the basketball. The Georgetown defense really taking over the game, pointing out this 8-0 run. Now as Dixon takes it in, they go to the ball, and then as he passes, Georgetown reacts back to the ball. That's excellent quickness by Georgetown. As I say, Gus, their defense is sort of taking over this game right now.
Georgetown on an 8-0 run, and they've taken their largest lead of the game.
And Maryland really looking to get some point production. Dixon only has 4 points. Baxter, after 6 early ones, has been totally cut off. And Terrence Morris has yet to score in the game. He's 0 for 5. He's had a couple of shots blocked.
Maryland has already turned it over 8 times. They averaged 14 turnovers per game on the season.
And right at the moment, this Georgetown zone defense has Maryland standing a little bit on the offensive end.
Now Dixon forcing it up, strip. Sweetney, the big fella, into the front court. Braswell stops, sets, and the loose ball. Dixon, who's fouled, coming up the floor by Gerald Riley.
Jerry Williams asking for the intentional foul call right there as Riley reached in and grabbed on. Dixon just loses the ball. This is a Georgetown defense. They fight you and scrap you every step of the way. Sweetney picks it up. This is really, I don't know, a good decision by Braswell. I don't know that he wants to be shooting that 3 in transition. Georgetown doing a nice job forcing turnovers, but as yet they have not converted a lot of them.
So Juan Dixon misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Baxter with the rebound. Goaltending the call on Wesley Wilson. 6:56 to go, first half of play. Hoyas up. Welcome back to the pond here in Anaheim, California. Gus Johnson, Dan Bonner, the game summary. Defense right now is the story if you look at what Georgetown has been able to do early.
Gus, you're absolutely right. It looked like Maryland was seizing control of the game. They led 18-15, but then Georgetown forced a couple of turnovers, and they have that game in that hectic sort of tempo that they play just about as well as anybody in the country. Now Maryland comes out in a zone.
6:46 to go, first half of play. Georgetown on top of Maryland, 23-20. Hoyas on an 8-2 run. Defense has really led the way for the Hoyas.
Really making it difficult for Maryland to score.
Ball knocked out of bounds, last touched by Maryland. And Georgetown coming into this game 25-7. They defeated Hampton in the second round, 75-57. Prior to that, a game winner by Nathaniel Burton against Arkansas to win 63-61.
And it's Nat Burton who banged his knee down on the inside. I think he smacked knees with somebody, and he's going to limp out. Each of these teams has played a lot of people early. It's been a pressing style for both of the teams. Maryland dropping back into that zone. Georgetown not noted as an excellent shooting team, but when you play that zone, you better be careful that you get on the defensive boards.
Here's Mike Sweetney as Maryland gets back into the zone. They're going to force Georgetown to shoot it from the perimeter. Now Riley driving. Loose ball tapped around. Sweetney gets it and powers it up.
Gus, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Georgetown, that might be their best offense. They throw the ball up on the board and go get it. Maryland had a chance to get the rebound and didn't secure it. You simply cannot give Georgetown those kinds of opportunities.
Georgetown matching its largest lead, up by 5. Baxter fouled from behind. Wesley Wilson. And they are calling this one the Battle of the Beltway. Georgetown, Maryland, last meeting, 1993. That game won by Maryland.
Gus, and very interesting, these are two schools that played every year, annually, from 1948 until 1980. And then after 1980, the only regularly scheduled game was that 1993 contest.
Lonnie Baxter gets the first to go. Let's take a look at the bracket here in the West. The winner of this game will advance to play the winner of the Stanford-Cincinnati game, a 1 versus a 5 coming up next. Baxter short on the second. UConn dives out of bounds, but he touches the line. But some great hustle.
Good hustle by Mouton. In fact, that ball actually went off the leg of Sweetney. Had Mouton not touched it, it would have been Maryland's ball.
Knocked away. Blake stripping Sweetney. Morris is fouled by Sweetney,
and they call that an intentional foul. So Terrence Morris will get 2 shots, and then Maryland will get the ball. Craig Esherick not very happy with this particular call, but Morris takes the ball to the basket. And the reason it's intentional, right there, Sweetney wraps his arms around Morris. And in the rule book where they talk about the intent, anytime you wrap your arms, the referees call it an intentional foul, and you get 2 shots and the ball.
So Terrence Morris gets the first to go, a senior from Frederick, Maryland, averaging 12.5 points per game.
Maryland now only 4 of 7 from the line. They have not been productive, now 5 of 8. But Georgetown, they get after you defensively. They create some personal fouls. One of the things you have to do against the Hoyas is go to the line and make your free throws. Make them pay for committing those fouls.
And they can tie it up with a deuce right here. Blake inside, Baxter strong to the basket using the body. And we are tied at 25 with 5:41 to go in the first half of play.
Baxter, 255 pounds, just forced his way to the basket that time.
Lonnie Baxter, 9 points, 5 rebounds. And Steve Blake called for the foul.
Now Baxter catches the ball out on the Lonnie Baxter showing you right there, just taking it hard to the goal. Doesn't usually catch it out on the top and drive to the basket, but you've got to be aware of that power and get yourself set, and don't let him push you underneath the basket.
So Braswell steps to the line. Here comes a sub. Victor Samnick in the game for Sweetney. And Samnick, a sophomore from Cameroon, as Braswell misses the free throw, rebounded by Wesley Wilson, and a new shot clock for the Hoyas.
Maryland now back in that zone, a 3-2 zone for the Terrapins.
Knocked away by Mouton. Out of bounds, and let's see.
It's off Terrence Morris. Gary Williams really concerned because Terrence Morris going after the ball, and oh boy, that's really close. You can see why Morris trying to sell the idea that he wasn't the last guy to touch the ball. But it was very, very close. They awarded the ball to Georgetown.
Drew Nicholas in the game, as well as Danny Miller for the Terps, sitting in that zone.
Trying to make Georgetown shoot the ball from the outside. However, Georgetown excellent penetrators, and Hunter is a guy who can shoot the 3. You got to get out on him.
And Hunter now with 8 points, 3 of 7 from the field. Maryland shooting the ball, 5 of 14, except for Baxter, who's playing really hard, and he draws the foul inside.
What Baxter has been able to do is use that body to get great position, and Wilson trying to come through him rather than around him. Picks up the foul.
And that is the second foul called on Wesley Wilson. And Lonnie Baxter, 11 points, 5 rebounds. He's from Silver Springs, Maryland. At the line. First one is good. Lee Scruggs checks in. And Riley will take a seat.
Dustin, these guys all know one another. There are 6 Terrapins, and 6 Hoyas and 5 Terrapins from the DC metro area. Well, they got to play. They can't stop.
Braswell.
Maryland drops back into that zone.
Riley frees himself. The kick, Scruggs all alone. Loose ball, rebounded by Samnick, and he's fouled. .425 to go, first half of play. Maryland and Georgetown in the battle of the Beltway for a trip to the Final 8 are duking it out right here. The Hoyas have led by as many as 5 twice, and their lead cut to 1.
Maryland has gone to a zone defense in an attempt to force Georgetown to shoot the ball from the outside, but against that zone, Georgetown has done a very nice job with offensive rebounds.
And right now the game clock has gone a little haywire. It says 20 minutes, and we want all the basketball we can get. But I don't think they're ready to play 20 more minutes here in the first half of play.
Well, Gus, both of the teams are very deep. They probably could if they had to.
They probably could, exactly. So let's take a look at the tournament summary as Craig Esherick and the Hoyas try to meet momentarily. And the lowest seed remaining, Gonzaga, their 3rd straight Sweet 16.
How about
Pac-10,
the Pac-10?
8-1. How about that?
Well on their way to 9-1 because USC doing a great job against Kentucky.
Gotta tip your hat to Henry Bibby, Sam Clancy, Brandon Glanville, all those players. Also Brian Scalabrine for USC. Tough bunch. Samnick gets the second. He has 2 points, 4:23 to go. Georgetown up by 3.
Georgetown 8 of 11 from the free throw line, so a lot of personal fouls in this game, and the Hoyas doing a nice job converting from the line.
Miller across the lane. Wilcox, the running hook, no. Wilson with the strong rebound. His 3rd.
And Wilcox shot that ball with a great arc, much more than he intended to, simply worried about their shot block.
Ball knocked out of bounds. Nicholas. 3:56 to go, first half of play. Georgetown by 3. And welcome back to Anaheim. Let's go to Dwayne Ballin as we take a look at the matchup between Braswell and Dixon so far.
Well, Gus, you know, Dan had mentioned that a number of the guys know each other. Although Braswell and Dixon actually haven't played against each other in a game of this magnitude to date, they do play against each other in the offseason. There is the Kenner League on the campus of Georgetown, a summer league that involves a number of the players on this court right now in Maryland and Georgetown. As a matter of fact, Braswell told me yesterday he knows the tendencies of most of the players because he sees them in the summer, and he doesn't need a scouting report.
The Jabo Kenner League at McDonough. Meanwhile, 5 turnovers for the Hoyas. Maryland tries to beat him down court. Georgetown gets back on defense.
I think at this point in the game, Juan Dixon only having 4 points really hurts Maryland.
Dixon off the mark again. McDonough Gymnasium, which is where Georgetown practices, which is on their campus. 30-27 right now.
And another rebounding foul on Danny Miller. Maryland has yet to make a basket from beyond 3-point range, and you can see Georgetown using the 3-point line very effectively. You would expect the reverse to be true, and that's one of the reasons Gary Williams has a look of a little frustration right at the moment.
So Lee Scruggs, a senior from Franklin, North Carolina, transferred from Daytona Beach Community College. And one thing about this Georgetown team, they have guys that are 6'11" with the wingspan of 7-footers playing, and they go about 13 deep.
Now they've got some big, not only broad guys, but long guys. Danny Miller going to the bench with the second personal foul. You cannot just imagine you're going to continue to attack Georgetown on the inside. You've got to make some jump shots against them, and Maryland really has not done that today.
.323 to go, first half of play. Hoyas up 32-27. Georgetown seeded number 10. Maryland a number 3. Nicholas to the basket, and the floater is pure.
That's that penetration against the zone. We talked about the necessity of getting the ball inside against that zone. And here's the Maryland zone.
Nicholas, a shooter coming out of high school in Hempstead, New York, but was called upon to be a quality backup point guard. He's done that. Inside, Wilson. Now Hunter, quick release, partially blocked by Dixon. And that one into the hands of Victor Samnick, who lays it home.
That's what Maryland can't afford. They do a great job out on the perimeter, but then those Georgetown guys are in there rebounding the ball.
Nicholas Dribble drive, dumps it down. Inside, the leaner is good. Chris Wilcox, first bucket of the game.
And Nicholas has had an impact since he came back into this game. A couple of penetration moves resulting in baskets for Maryland. Now, can Maryland get a rebound if they can force the errant Hoya shot?
Hoyas have led by as many as 5. Braswell on the hop, down the lane. He draws contact.
Maryland has been in that zone. Georgetown not able to connect. That's a blocked shot, but Samnick, considered to be one of the best rebounders on the Hoyas, just catches that one and lays it in the basket. Can't get passive rebounding the ball just because you're playing in a zone.
Now don't forget, coming up on the singular at the half, Greg and Clark will be with you as Braswell gets the first to go. And they will also take a look at USC, Kentucky. SC trying to stage the serious upset and advance to the Elite Eight. Braswell's second one good. He has 2 points, 36-31 Hoyas. 2 minutes to go, first half of play. And Nicholas accosted coming up the floor by Perry. CBS Sports coverage of the entire NCAA basketball tournament is interactive through Ultimate TV.
Drew Nicholas at the free throw line. Of course, Drew Nicholas, young man who missed a couple of free throws down the stretch in that Duke game at College Park, where Duke came back from 10 down in the last minute and won the game. A very traumatic experience for both the Terrapins and for Drew Nicholas.
But the Terps have won 8 of their last 9. Their last loss coming to Duke in the ACC tournament, 84-82. Some have picked them not only to get to the Final Four, but to go all the way. As Nicholas hits the second.
I don't think the Georgetown Hoyas are among those picking the Terrapins at this point, however.
Scruggs almost turned it over. Samnick, cross court. Inside Braswell, the running lefty. Loose ball and a foul.
And the foul is going to be called against Wilson, and Martisic is going to shoot it. Gus, that was a perfect example, I think, of what we were talking about. Braswell driving down the lane, and all he did was throw that ball up on the board and let his guys go get it. Against that zone defense, again, you cannot afford to just stand on the outside, and Braswell just takes it and throws it up there, and there's 5 Hoyas around the ball. Martisic, a nice play to come in there in the middle of them.
So Martisic will shoot 2. Young man was born in Long Beach, California. Spent time living in Croatia. Was admitted to Harvard, but decided to come to Maryland. Ended up his final year in high school in Boston. And he is set to graduate with a double degree in 4 different majors. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know, you have to take 8 different majors?
Oh, my goodness.
This is a young man. He speaks 3 different languages.
Martisic gets the second.
So that means if he really gets upset at the referee, he can say anything he wants to, provided he can choose one of those languages that the referees don't speak.
36-34, Martisic with 3. Here's a half-court trap. Braswell breaks it by himself.
That's good recovery by Mouton.
On the baseline, Hunter tried to jam it off the heel.
And Hunter is a guy who can get up there and throw it down. Last year, Hunter at 6'2", they tried to use him at power forward a little bit. He missed that one, but boy, when he throws it down, it can be very, very impressive.
Crowd buzzing right now. Martisic, the turnaround.
Boy, what a huge contribution Martisic has made off the bench. We talked about the benches. Maryland getting some offense.
106 to go, first half of play. We're tied at 36.
The world is awash in sweet-tasting mouthwashes.
If all you want is sweeter breath, take your pick.
But for a healthier mouth,
You need the power that's in Listerine. Listerine is the only mouthwash clinically proven to locate and liquidate germs between teeth, even germs that can cause the gum disease gingivitis.
why stop at sweeter breath?
Liquidate germs. with Listerine. Don't let a good mouth go bad.
Maryland and Georgetown really going at it. Sometimes it doesn't matter how close you get it. You still have to convert. Hunter way up, but misses the dunk. Maryland down on the other end, gets it to Martisic, who uses that 7-foot frame. A nice basket by Mike Martisic, who's done a great job coming off the bench with 5 points, has hit both of his field goals.
They squeeze Braswell. He goes down the lane. Boomche not ready. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Terps, rather. Game tied at 36, 55.3 to go here in the first half of play.
Talked about Braswell wanting to make plays, but you don't want to force it in there. This zone defense has sort of slowed Georgetown down a little bit when Maryland has been able to secure the defensive rebounds.
Hunter in the corner. Riley off the heel. Mouton with the long rebound.
A good decision by Mouton to find Nicholas.
About a 1-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Nicholas taking his time.
See if they try to find Martisic down inside. He's 7 feet tall, matched up against Sweetman.
He's feeling it right now, too. Here's Martisic. Now he looks to post up on the low post. Nicholas breaking his man down. The runner to the bucket. No. Loose ball tap. No. Mouton grabs it. Yes! And that is the end of the first half of play. And Maryland, down by as many as 5, they head into the locker room with a 38-36 lead. They close on a 7-0 run.
This is excellent patience by Maryland to not panic. Just lots of times the clock is running down and you get very anxious. Nicholas slips, shoots the ball, and now Wilcox is going to tap it around. As the ball comes back out, Mouton takes his time.
Here's Dwayne Ballin.
Coach Williams, that last play worked out, I imagine, the way you wanted it.
Well, we got the shot we wanted, but we didn't make it, so we had to follow that up. So it did work out the way we wanted it. You're right.
What about your impressions of a very close first half?
Very physical. We have to match their intensity. We did the last 5 minutes, and hopefully we can do it at the start of the second half.
Thanks. Good luck second half.
All right, that's the end of the first half with the score. Maryland 38, Georgetown 36. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Hertz, Nextel, Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, and by Morgan Stanley Dean Witter.
And welcome back. Halftime, Maryland up by 2. Moments ago, our Dwayne Ballin had a chance to talk to Craig Esherick.
Coach Esherick, very close first half. What do you do in the second half?
Well, I think we have to rebound the ball a little bit better. There were too many zeros on the rebounding column next to a bunch of names. And also, I think shot selection. We settled too much for the jump shot rather than looking to drive or looking to get the ball inside when Maryland went zone.
Thank you. Good luck in the second half.
All right, welcome back. Gus Johnson along with Dan Bonner. Just what we expected. Close game at halftime.
Close game, and these teams have really battled one another. I thought what Gary Williams said going off at halftime really sums it up for both teams. They have to match one another in terms of the intensity, and at times in the first half, Maryland simply didn't do that, although they closed with a 7-0 run.
So let's take a look at the numbers from the first half of play here in Anaheim. And the field goal shooting, 10 of 28 for the Hoyas and 14 of 29 for the Terps.
And one of the problems, Maryland with those 9 turnovers. And another problem, Juan Dixon with only 4 points in the first half. Terrence Morris, no field goals and only 2 points in the first half. Maryland opens the second half in that 3-2 zone.
Braswell along with Hunter in the backcourt for the Hoyas. Sweetney, Boomche, and Riley in the front court. In the corner, this one no good for Gerald Riley, and the rebound going to Mouton.
And you just heard Craig Esherick say that they didn't want to settle for those shots out on the perimeter, that they wanted to work it inside.
Baxter jump hook hard off the glass and in.
Boy, what a big performance by Lonnie Baxter. He's got 15 points in the game, Gus, and the next highest point total for Maryland is 5.
Largest lead of the game for the Terps, who trailed by as many as 5 twice in the first half of play.
Now the danger here is you don't want to get passive. You want to get the ball inside that zone.
Now Braswell picks it up. Boomche short. Loose ball, batted around, knocked out of bounds. The Hoyas will hang on.
Lonnie Baxter does a great job. The left side of your screen just with the jump hook. Boomche, I think, was surprised. Baxter very quick with that shot on that occasion. Maryland's doing a nice job matching up in this zone.
Riley drives to the basket and gets the lay.
And that's exactly what Craig Esherick wants. If Maryland's going to run out on you, you give them that pump fake and then go to the goal.
40-38. Mouton splits the defense, leans in. Baxter with another rebound. And Lonnie Baxter, folks, has come to play. His 6th rebound to go along with 15 points.
Boy, you want to make opportunities like this, but Boomche does a great job contesting that shot. But if Boomche is going to contest the shot, then nobody's available to block out Baxter in a powerful move to the goal.
Well, the junior from Silver Spring, Saturday on CBS, Craig T. Nelson stars as a police chief who's on a mission to stop crime in Washington, D.C. See why the district is Saturday's #1 show. Don't miss it. Baxter missing the second loose ball, picked up by the Terps. Mouton on the fade, short, loose ball, and it's knocked out of bounds by Baxter.
Gus, just because you get an offensive rebound doesn't mean you have to shoot the ball. I thought Mouton made a mistake that time. It appeared to be an opportunity to throw it back out and get a better shot than the tough one trying to shoot it over Boomche.
Mouton has 6 rebounds. Sweetney down the lane, and he ran right over Baxter, called for the offensive foul.
Sweetney, a guy who's most effective down close to the basket. He drives, he leaves his feet, and Lonnie Baxter does a great job just getting himself planted before Sweetney left his feet, and thus the charge. Nice play.
And that is the 2nd foul on Sweetney. Now Steve Blake getting directions from Gary Williams on the sideline.
Gary Williams wants them to attack against that zone.
They turn it over almost. Baxter again, in and out, but Morris is there for the follow.
And that is the first field goal of the game for Terrence Morris, who had that awful first-round game against George Mason.
Now Braswell. Wilson on the hop.
Boy, a very physical game going on here. Sweetney just pushed Baxter out of bounds. He got called for the foul. And this game is a game where the guys are really banging one another. Wilson doesn't get it to go, and I guess that's Riley that just pushes Baxter out of the way.
So Georgetown sets up its press. Here's Blake, picked up full court by Braswell. Hoyas back out of it.
Georgetown back to the man-to-man.
Here's a high pick and roll. Blake around the corner to Baxter with a 2-hand jam. 17 points for Lonnie Baxter. Timeout, Hoyas.
Lonnie Baxter is going to come out and set a screen and then roll to the basket. And Georgetown's defenders over here have to step into the lane and help. And they do not. And as a result, Lonnie Baxter gets it going all the way to the goal. Wilson goes. Nobody comes to pick up Baxter. And when the guy has that many points, you got to go get him.
And the Hoyas turn it over. Braswell throwing it into the front court. And here comes Maryland, 7th turnover of the game for the Hoyas. Now Blake again, the lob, backdoor, Morris, broken up by Wilson.
Not a well-thrown ball by Steve Blake.
In the corner. And that one short by Samnick. Hoyas struggling, shooting the ball. Here's the lob again, Baxter off the glass, no. Georgetown 11 of 20 of 33 from the field. Now Blake to the bucket. Fouled hard.
The lob pass is one of the most difficult to execute in basketball. The first time Blake throws the ball too low, and as a result, Wilson's able to take it out of the hands of Morris. And this one, I don't know who's going to get this, but it's not Lonnie Baxter. He threw that one high and outside.
Braswell called for a second, so Steve Blake at the line. A young man from Miami Lakes, Florida. His father loves to watch his son play, but he has to make a heck of a drive when he decides to watch his son.
Steve Blake's father, Richard, was a private pilot, and he had an incident with an airplane crash.
Emergency landing.
In the Everglades, and that put him off flying a little bit. And this is a pretty long trip to make by car. Didn't go out to Boise and didn't get out here to Anaheim, but he sees almost all of his son's games.
1,100 miles. From his house to Cole Fieldhouse. Now Hunter into the front court. Braswell. 15. Scruggs the turnaround and hits.
And Scruggs can be instant offense off the bench for Georgetown. And that's what Craig Eschrich's looking for right now, is some of that offense. Georgetown has gotten a little sloppy with the basketball and allowed Maryland some easy opportunities.
Baxter squatting down low. No good. Loose ball tapped around. Into the hands of Baxter. Holy mackerel. Lonnie Baxter with the tomahawk. 19 points. And 7 rebounds. Maryland by 7.
That was just sheer power right there.
Braswell frees himself. Scruggs rebound and stick back. Lee Scruggs starting to make his presence felt. Has 6 points, 4 in the second half of play.
Georgetown really having a tough time penetrating that Maryland zone.
Here's Baxter again. Morris squares up. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Terps. LB, they call him. He's heavy in the middle and taking it to the basket. And don't forget, coming up on Saturday, it's the Men's Division II Championship. Kentucky Wesleyan going for their 8th straight championship. They're playing the semifinals as we speak. That's Saturday on CBS. A correction, their 8th overall championship. 47-42, our score right here. Maryland leading Georgetown. Lonnie Baxter has been the story. 19.7 rebounds on 8 of 11 shooting for the Terrapins. And a steal. Dixon going up high. Here comes Dixon. And he pulls it out. Blake in the corner. Mouton, a rebound. Fade away. Tapped around. Into the hands of Blake.
Boy, Morris really fighting on the boards in the second half. Somebody must have said something to him at halftime.
Now Baxter steps out, shows the ball, leans in. Morris the tap, no. And the rebound goes to Demetrius Hunter.
A good battle by Georgetown.
Perry sets his feet. And a whistle in the paint.
Got Anthony Perry, I think, pushed Steve Blake.
The foul called on Scruggs. He picks up his first.
Gus, this game has become very, very physical. These teams are really going at one another, and you would expect that from guys who play against one another all the time in the summer.
$13:50 to go here in the second half of play. Maryland leads Georgetown 47-42.
Maryland has struggled to find points when they haven't been able to find Baxter.
Blake sets his feet. Loose ball, rebounded inside, Holden, no call. Officials letting them go right now. Inside, Sweetney makes the catch, top of the key, Braswell, book it.
And that is a big, big basket by Georgetown. This game has, these guys have been running up and down, missing a lot of shots. The game's been very physical. That was an important basket for Georgetown, I think, just so this game didn't slip away.
Braswell with 5, cuts it to a 2-point Maryland lead, and a hand-checking call on Braswell, his 3rd.
And that basket really has turned up the pressure for Georgetown. Here, Holden battling on the inside for the ball. As he goes up, he like bangs it off the underside of the board, and then scrapping around, Braswell finally gets an opening against that zone and knocks it down.
Georgetown trying to advance to the Elite 8 for the first time since '96, when they lost to UMass as they played for a trip to the Final Four. And you take a look at the team fouls, 16 fouls against the Hoyas.
Maryland.
One more, and Maryland shoots 1 and 1.
Gus, Maryland has been attacking on offense. I actually say that's team foul number 7, so they're in the 1-and-1 now.
With 12:56 to go in the second half of play, rather.
Problem for Maryland, they have not been real effective from the free throw line. Only 11 of 18, making 11 of 19. Baxter's missed a couple here in the second half.
Now Scruggs, quick release, an air ball. Anthony Perry grabs it, stolen by Miller. Outlet pass to Dixon, stops, fires, drains it. Juan Dixon with 7 gives the Terrapins a 5-point lead.
Gus, and that's what you call a big-time shot. That's what was with Scruggs, right in his face.
Braswell poked away by Blake. Here comes Blake in a hurry down the lane. Miller draws contact.
Maryland is a team that really likes to score in transition. Juan Dixon, even though Scruggs is flying at him, has not had very many open opportunities, but buries that one. 7 points in the game now for Dixon, who comes in averaging over 18.
He's 3 of 5 from the field. Second foul on Scruggs and the free throw shooting. Terrapins 11 of 19. As Miller,
he's only a 50% free throw shooter.
And Braswell takes a seat. Hunter back into the game.
Braswell just got a little lackadaisical. He's standing with the ball in the corner. And I think Greg Esherick just wants him to settle down.
Both free throws good for Miller. 52-45, Maryland.
Now an important little stretch here for Georgetown. Without Braswell, they're going to have to handle the ball effectively.
Anthony Perry, double teamed on the baseline, gets it back out to Hunter. Perry, across the lane. Sweetney, double team. Scruggs, lean in, one-hander, short. Baxter snatches it down, his 8th.
Boy, this zone has really been effective.
Holden the other way. Maryland, they're getting it off the window and pushing it up the floor. And the Terrapins take their largest lead, 54-45. Timeout, Hoyas.
There's a new 270 horsepower beast on the road that's more powerful than Jeep Grand Cherokee or any SUV in its class. Introducing the powerful and luxurious Bravada by Oldsmobile. Now get a 5-year, 60,000-mile GM protection plan on the 2002 Bravada and every new Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile, backed by GM.
54-45, Maryland on a 23-9 run in the last 10-15.
And Gus, that corresponds almost exactly to the Maryland decision to go to the zone defense. Georgetown has not handled the zone very well. They've turned it over, and that's allowed Maryland to get out and get some easy baskets. When Georgetown can set the defense, they're pretty good, but if they're chasing Maryland down the court all the time, their defense not quite as strong.
Now Braswell along with Hunter.
But they just have not been able to get the ball inside against the zone. Shot clock down to 10.
Nathaniel Burton on the baseline, runs right over Holden. And a blocking foul called against the Terps.
That is the first foul of the second half against Maryland.
Timeout on the floor, 11:19 to go, second half of play, Maryland up. 15 to go, second half of play. Gary Williams trying to advance to his first Elite Eight. Meanwhile, let's go to New York and Greg Gumbel. Georgetown with the basket off the timeout, 54-47.
And for one of the few times in the last 10 minutes, Georgetown able to get the ball inside against the zone. Now they come out with the traps in their own zone. And this zone defense, the 2-3 zone by Georgetown, if you hold the ball on the wing or in the corner, they're going to come get you. Maryland has to be very careful that they move the ball. Don't stand there and hold it.
Victor Samnick in the game. Gerald Riley takes a seat. Now Blake. Hoyas in the 2-3. Nicholas rims out, tap. Martisic with the rebound. Blake straight away, in and out. Loose ball, another offensive rebound right in the hands of Braswell. Down the lane, blocked by Blake, fouled by Blake.
Boy, Maryland with a couple of opportunities. They threw the ball in the middle, and I think both Holden and Nicholas thought the pass was to someone else, and they let it go, and Braswell collects it. Georgetown getting their hands on the ball, but not able to control it. This time, you see Boomche and Sweetney fighting with one another. Miller comes out with it, and Nicholas didn't think the ball was being thrown to him, so he let it go. And Braswell has the opportunity to bring Georgetown a little closer.
So Kevin Braswell gets the first on the season. He averages 11 points per game. And tonight, Braswell with 6 points. Has 2 assists as well. Second one good. Hoyas trying to claw their way back. Setting up the press, down 54-49.
Guess they scored 4 in a row after Maryland got to that 9-point lead, and it looked like they were going to assume control of the game.
Holden looks, Martisic, nice catch, short, loose ball, tapped around, Braswell has it. Braswell weaving his way, crosses over, almost turned it over. Here's Kevin to the cup. He's fouled again. And Braswell starting to look more aggressive on the offensive end of the floor.
Well, the game has suddenly, the last couple possessions, Georgetown able to get some things out in transition. They don't have to play against that set Maryland defense, and Braswell sees the lane to the basket and takes it. But again, Maryland not quite able to set their defense, and that gives Braswell the opportunity.
So Mike Martisic picks up his third. And Braswell gets the first. And Kevin starting to stroke it from the free throw line.
Georgetown as a team really doing a great job from the free throw line. Now 15 of 18 from the line. And that's been a place where they've had an advantage over the Terrapins. Maryland to the line more often, 21 times, but they've only converted 13.
Braswell 6 of 7 from the line. 9 points, 3-point game.
Georgetown's free throw shooting and keeping them in it. 6 points in a row for the Hoyas.
Maryland is led by as many as 9.
And there's Miller holding the ball against the trap.
Dixon, Braswell, the 2 best friends guarding each other right now. Out of Baltimore, Maryland. Holden looks weak side. Dixon, the kiss.
Boy, that was great ball movement. An excellent pass by Holden, and Juan Dixon catches that ball ready to shoot it.
Maryland back up by 5.
Here's that set zone defense again. Boy, Braswell and Dixon talking to one another out there.
Steal it! Come on!
Inside, Wilson can't hold on. Hoyas turn it over. That's number 12 for Georgetown this evening.
But Braswell doing a great job forcing Nicholas to pick up his dribble. No easy opportunity for Maryland that time. Georgetown back to the man.
Dixon squares up. Baxter chases it down in the corner. His 9th rebound. Knocked away. Braswell with the steal. Ahead of the field. Straight to the basket. He's fouled. He's fouled. And the basket will not count.
Braswell really doing a nice job. Nicholas makes a mistake trying to dribble it in all that traffic. Braswell just waits for it, powers it to the goal. Boy, and that's a tough break for Georgetown.
Victor Samnick interfering with the ball. It was on the way down. And they will wipe away the basket. So Braswell will shoot 2.
Gus, that's a situation. You hear that whistle, you just have to stop.
So Braswell gets the first.
Georgetown staying in it at the line, Gus. Man-to-man defense for Georgetown. Now Hunter fouls Dixon, and so Dixon's going to go to the free throw line.
Now Tuesday on CBS, a barroom murder investigation turns into a deadly trap. Don't miss an hour of surprising twists and turns on an all-new Jag Tuesday on CBS. So Juan Dixon at the line, and the free throw shooting. Dixon can't lay it down. 56-52. Maryland.
Maryland stays in that zone.
Baseline jumper short for Sweetney. Miller weaving his way down the lane. Off the glass, no.
What a rebound!
Baxter.
Where did he come from? Lots of times big guys stand and watch as their guards drive to the basket, but Lonnie Baxter sees him go and then just runs at the goal with a great rebound, and now he gets fouled, but of course Maryland has not shot the ball very well from the free throw line. A dominant performance on the boards by Maryland, but they've got to convert from the line. Another miss.
And here comes a sub for the Hoyas, Scruggs, along with Riley and Boomche Boomche. (56-52) Maryland on top of Georgetown. A 10 Georgetown versus a 3 Maryland. USC, another huge upset. Lonnie Baxter with 20 points for the Terps. Inside, Riley, bad shot, loose ball, tapped around, out of bounds, and the Hoyas will hold on. Maryland is led by as many as 9 here in the second half of play. And right now, a lot of hustle on the floor by both teams. And welcome back to Anaheim. Let's take a look at the game summary. Maryland controlling the boards, up 42-29. Gus Johnson along with Dan Bonner, your impressions at this point of the game.
Gus, it's very interesting. Georgetown at this point in the game has more free throws, 17, than they do field goals, 15, but they're still in the game because they've really gotten after it on defense and they've been able to convert from the line.
Anthony Perry partially blocked Scruggs, rejected inside by Morris, gets it and puts it back in.
And Scruggs with 6 big points in the second half has really helped the Hoyas. Maryland has missed at the free throw line here in the last couple of minutes, and that's allowed Georgetown to crawl back in.
Inside, Baxter, in and out. Scruggs with the rebound.
Nice job that time by Boomche Boomche to force Baxter just a foot or 2 further away than he wanted to be.
And the intensity starting to rise here in Anaheim. .703 to go in the second half of play. Maryland a 3 versus Georgetown a 10. And the Terps have led by as many as 9 in the second half of play. They trailed Dan by as many as 5 twice in the first half, but right now they're controlling the glass.
Gus, they did a great job when they switched to the zone defense against Georgetown. That really caused some problems for the Hoyas. Neither team shooting the ball very well at this point, and Maryland has really struggled from the free throw line, which is why Georgetown has remained so close. And
Juan Dixon, the leader on this team. Honorable mention All-America, has 10 points. His season average is 18. He's playing against his oldest and dearest friend and Kevin Braswell, both young men from Baltimore. First time they've ever met at the collegiate level. Second free throw good for Dixon. 59-54. 7 minutes to go in regulation.
Maryland really trying to put on the pressure.
Scruggs to the basket again, and he hits.
Boy, Scruggs has been the offense for Georgetown in the second half when they've been able to score field goals.
He's got 8 in the second half, 10 altogether. 3-point Maryland lead. Backdoor Mouton, right out of bounds, and it's deflected by the Hoyas. Gary Williams, he's had some problems in the Sweet 16, looking for his first Elite 8 appearance. 94, lost to the Wolverines, Connecticut, Arizona, and most recently to St. John's.
Now Georgetown drops back into the zone defense.
Inside, Mouton, bounce pass, Holden, and a pretty kiss. 8 points for Taj Holden.
And that's been important because Terrence Morris, one of Maryland's big scorers, only 1 for 11 today.
In the corner, Riley partially blocked, picked up by Holden. Now Blake in transition, throws it out of bounds, and that's what he does that must drive Gary Williams crazy.
And it does drive Gary Williams crazy. That's the kind of a play where if you make it, it's a spectacular play. But for the University of Maryland, they don't need spectacular right at this moment. They need good, solid play. You make the good play, not the spectacular play.
13 turnovers for the Terrapins.
Boy, and that was another opportunity for Maryland to seize control of the game.
Now Braswell. No room against that zone right now on the perimeter.
Done a nice job preventing Braswell from driving into the middle.
Perry. Loose ball, tapped around, Holden with another rebound.
That's a great play by Juan Dixon. Battling hard inside. Dixon only about 6'2", and he's struggling in there to get the rebound, but he kept it alive so Holden could get it.
Now Blake around the corner to the bucket, off the glass, no. Loose ball, and Braswell, one of the smallest players on the floor, comes up with the rebound, but he can't hold on.
Holden really battling on the inside. Braswell dribbling the ball, just dribbled it on the out-of-bounds line. Get the ball down in there, Gus. You're trying to control it. Don't dribble it, grab it.
61-56 Maryland. The Terps have never advanced to the inside Baxter foul, and Baxter will go to the line. Terps have never advanced to the Final Four. They have advanced to the Elite 8 one other time.
Boy, Baxter just taking that body and putting it right into Scruggs. Craig Esherick has a problem. Now, he's got a lot of guys over there, but a lot of them have some fouls.
Baxter gets the first to go. 1975 under Lefty Drizel. Maryland advanced to the Final 8. Baxter, second free throw good. Lonnie Baxter has taken over this game. 22 points, 11 rebounds.
And Maryland has gotten some great play from guys coming off the bench.
Now Perry. Braswell beaten up. That's a 3. Braswell with 13. 11 in the second half of play.
Braswell can score. He had 40 against Virginia in an NIT game last year, so he can put points up on the board.
Season high 26 against Seton Hall. Baxter on the low post, the drop step, baby jumper, gets the bounce.
That time he matched up against Sweetney, and Sweetney, not one of those long arm guys. He's about the same size as Baxter. He won't be able to block Baxter's shot. That's a positive matchup for Maryland.
Braswell down the lane. Rebounded Sweetney. Can't get it to fall, tapped out. Braswell with it again. And a new shot clock for the Hoyas. Al Sweetney. Miller.
Boy, what fight by Danny Miller. He just ripped that away from a couple of Hoyas.
14 turnovers for the Hoyas.
Back to man-to-man.
Blake. Dixon off the dribble. Block from behind. Dixon again. Down low. Miller.
Missed it!
Out. Into the front court. Perry. Turns it over. Miller. This time he gets it to fall. 3:26 to go in the second half of play. Maryland on top, 67-59.
Danny Miller really involved in everything here the last couple of possessions. A great rip out of there on the rebound. Then down the court, an easy one that he misses. And then as he fights back, a long pass by Steve Blake after Lonnie Baxter comes up with a steal, and Miller gets the second layup to go. Miller, one of those guys, a very positive contribution, 4 points and 3 rebounds off the bench.
Terps up by 8, 3:20 to go, second half of play. Inside Sweetney. In the corner, this one falls for Hunter. It's a 3.
That's a nice job by Georgetown getting the ball inside, forcing the defense to collapse, and then finding Hunter open for the 3.
Miller knocked away, Sweetney picks it up. The press working for the Hoyas right now. Hunter again off the dribble, partially blocked. Loose ball, who wants it? Sweetney blocked by Holden.
Boy, Lonnie Baxter got the first one, and Holden got the second one.
67-62, Maryland. Dixon inside, nice look. Miller with the finish. 6 points for Miller, all in the second half of play. Perry, ball fake. Can't knock one down today.
Boy, how big has Lonnie Baxter been today?
And a timeout on the floor called by the Terrapins. 2:10 remaining. Second half, Maryland up 69-62. The CBS Sports Line stat of the game. Points off turnovers. Georgetown has turned it over 11 times, coming up with 19 points for Maryland off those turnovers. For complete tournament coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com. 2:10 to go here in the second half of play. Maryland up 69-62. Blake into the front court, dangerous pass. And a turnover. Blake leaving his feet. Mouton couldn't keep position, and Gary Williams livid. 15 Maryland turnovers. Hoyas with the ball after this.
All new CSI, CBS next Thursday.
Access live head-to-head team and player stats through this interactive telecast available on Ultimate TV. 2:03 to go here in the second half of play. Maryland leading Georgetown 69-62.
And the Hoyas running out of time to solve this Maryland defense.
Braswell drives to the basket, draws the foul inside. And don't forget, coming up next, more college basketball. Duke versus UCLA. And we're about 30 minutes outside of Los Angeles here in Anaheim. One team is advanced already to the Elite Eight in USC. Congratulations to Henry Bibby and the Trojans. Let's see what UCLA can do with those powerful Dukies. Braswell, 7 of 9 from the line.
And that time Braswell just driving into the lane, looking for the contact and getting it. And the free throws have really helped Georgetown. 18 of 22 are the Hoyas.
Second one in and out. Baxter with another rebound. His 13th. To go along with 24 points.
And now Maryland is going to face some heavy Georgetown pressure, and they've got to hang on to the ball.
Holden. Good job to back it out. Finding Dixon. Inside. Baxter, great catch. He caught that ball, folks, like a wide receiver. Stretching out.
That was excellent defense by Georgetown. That was a tough, tough pass. Georgetown out scrambling on defense. Dixon trapped in the corner. Baxter really did reach out. And that's not a bad foul. Baxter, not a particularly good free throw shooter, stretching all the way out to catch that one. He's made his last 3 in a row as Lonnie Baxter.
7 of 12 tonight. Maryland up 70-63. Maryland averaging 85.5 points per game.
The Georgetown defense against the Hoyas, it's going to be hard to score that many, but Maryland now getting it done on the free throw line.
71-63. Terps, 1:23 to go. Braswell, out of bounds.
Gus, you talked about the Georgetown turnovers, and basically that's the way they've turned the ball over. Maryland hasn't been pressuring them. They just have not been able to make plays against that zone. How many times have we seen the ball scoot through somebody's hands for the Hoyas?
Why coaches always try to get kids to make the basic pass. Now Miller, cross court, Dixon pulls it out. They'll milk the clock. Dixon. Now it's time to play keep away from Maryland.
Gotta keep the ball moving.
Blake on the baseline. Baxter, 13 to shoot. Georgetown doesn't want to foul right now.
No, once the clock runs down, you don't want to foul.
Miller. And a whistle. It will go against the Hoyas. And the Terps are starting to smell it right now. And the point guard matchup between Braswell and Dixon, pretty even. 14 for Braswell. 11 for Dixon as Miller steps to the line.
That's actually not a bad foul on Georgetown. If you're going to foul Miller, though, you want to foul him much earlier in the clock. As we mentioned, Miller only half and half from the line.
First one, no good. Maryland, 20 of 31 from the free throw line tonight.
Miller on the year, only 53%.
Second one, pure. 72-63, Maryland. Georgetown's got to hurry. Here's Braswell, pulls up. Off the back rim, loose, out of bounds. Last touch by the Terps. With 40.3 to go. Georgetown 7 of 24 from downtown tonight. Perry in the corner. That one short for Hunter. Braswell reloads, got a good look, and sinks it. Timeout on the floor, 31.4 to go.
There's always a combination of taking your knowledge and applying it. For example, I know who the shooter is. I know what he does, what he thinks, under stress, how he'll act, what's his favorite thing to do, what's his least favorite thing to do. And I got most of my rebounds before he took the shot.
Knowledge is the edge. At Invesco Funds, it's the approach we use to make money for investors. You should know what Invesco knows.
Thursday on Survivor, the ultimate challenge could land someone in paradise. Who will be the victor and who will get voted off? Don't miss an all-new Survivor when it moves back to Thursday on CBS. Maryland inbounding the basketball, holding up the sideline, fouled. And that will be the 5th foul on Boomche. Ruben Boomche will head out of the game, and Ruben, a senior from Cameroon, 7-footer, leaves with no points and 2 rebounds. (72-66). Maryland leads Georgetown with 28 seconds to go. And this game basically has belonged to Lonnie Baxter. That's Taj Holden at the line, but Lonnie Baxter, 26 points, 13 rebounds, a block on 9 of 14 shooting. As Holden gets the first one to go. Maryland has handled Georgetown's press pretty much. They've made some mistakes, turning it over 15 times, but for all intents and purposes, they've done a pretty good job.
Yes, there's no question, Gus. And when Maryland went to that zone defense, that really slowed down the Hoyas' attack. The Hoyas turned it over. Maryland was able to get some transition baskets. You don't want to play against that set Georgetown defense, and when Maryland switched to the zone, the game really did turn in their favor. And Holden, big game with 10 off the bench.
Perry, inside, Sweetney. Now Braswell for 3, in and out. 15 to go, Braswell again, short. Into the corner, save, Scruggs. And air ball into the hands of Dixon. And that will do it. The Maryland Terrapins will advance to the Elite Eight for the first time since 1975. And they will play the winner of Stanford, Cincinnati.
Obviously disappointment on the Georgetown bench, but the Maryland Terrapins, led by those 26 points by Lonnie Baxter. Terrence Morris was only 1 for 11 for Maryland, but they got huge performances off the bench. Mardisic with 5 in the first half, Holden with 10 for the game, Nicholas with 4 points. We talked about these teams and their benches, and it's the Maryland bench that ultimately decides the outcome in favor of the Terps.
Anthony Perry still can't get one to fall, and that'll do it. Maryland 76, Georgetown 66. And the Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Kevin Braswell from Georgetown and Lonnie Baxter from Maryland. We'll take a look at the brackets here in the West. Maryland advances. They will take on the winner of the Stanford-Cincinnati game, and they are the Chevrolet MVPs. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Gus, thank you. So the Terps of Maryland move on by 10, 76-66, and they will